Welcome to the World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Series Showcase. I'm Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. This, of course, is the video series in which we go over all 16 players who have qualified for Capcom Cup 2014. These are the players from all around the world who are going to be competing at this event on December 13th at the Warfield in San Francisco. And of course, if you can't catch it live there, you can watch it live on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters. So make sure you tune in for that.
And when you watch it, as James said, you'll see that there are 16 players. 10 of them qualified automatically by winning one of 10 automatic qualifier tournaments. The others qualified by points that they got from having done well at different tournaments around the world throughout the past year. And today we're going to talk about a player who did just that, qualified by points.
That's right. And from Brazil, our sole representative from South America is CNB Shushu, who has won a couple of tournaments down there. I think he won an online tournament down there and has just been one of the strongest players in the Brazilian scene for a while now.
Yeah, the accounts that we've heard are that he's among the top 3 for sure of the Brazilian scene. If you haven't had a chance to watch that scene very much, there isn't quite the same amount of media that's coming out of North America, for example. Right. But they are very strong.
Yes. And not only that, but apparently he's been playing Street Fighter for a long time.
Yeah.
On a casual level, he's been playing since the original Street Fighter 2. So this guy has built up a lot, and he's got to learn a lot of the fundamentals kind of style.
Right.
And he really didn't know about the competitive scene until about 2006, when he first started entering tournaments. And I guess from there, he's just been playing super well in Brazil, consistently finished his top 3, along with his fellow Brazilians, Keoma and Breno Fighters, who was supposed to be at Capcom Cup last year.
Right. Yeah. Interesting that when he started playing competitively, he actually didn't own a console for the first couple of years.
Right.
There's some precedent for that. We know some big other players who have sort of had the same route. You can totally do it.
Oh yeah, and especially if he has an arcade background.
Exactly.
Because that's where all the arcade players learned. Is you just went to the arcade and played over there, and you didn't even have to worry about consoles.
Yep. I didn't buy my first stick until 2003 or 2004.
Heck, let's be honest. Until the Sega Saturn, home versions were always like pale imitations of the arcade ones. So
for sure.
I mean, the fact that we have arcade accurate training mode home console versions is still pretty ridiculous for old school players like me,
Right. Well, he does spend a lot of time training now. He says he spends about 3 hours a day trying to train up and improve.
That's right, because he is sponsored.
He is sponsored.
He's sponsored down there in Brazil, and so he's definitely taking a lot of time. Yeah.
He has as far as his sort of notoriety beating non-Brazilian tournaments players go. He defeated Infiltration when Infil came down to Brazil in AE 2012. He and Laugh came, and Shushu actually beat Infiltration at that tournament.
Yeah, and I mean his play style, I feel like he has such a long-term playing, like I said, he's probably developed a little bit more of the fundamentals footsie style of play, and you actually kind of see that in the way that he plays, because he's really good at footsies. He actually can play both. He's very aggressive because he's a chameleon. He has a lot of characters that he uses, right? So to clarify, he uses Sakura, Viper, and Chun-Li.
Right. So
with Sakura, you'll see that he's super aggressive with Sakura, but then with Chun-Li, playing a really good defensive kind of footsie game as well. So the footsies, obviously footsies can be offensive or defensive, and I feel like he utilizes both of them really well, depending on the character.
Yeah, I think you're right. When I watch him play, I see a lot of versatility. He has the ability to turn it on, and I think you're right about it being sort of a character thing. When he's with Chun-Li, you'll see when he's being pressured, he's not doing all that many offensive or active things.
Right.
Very different story if he's Sakura. We'll see Wake Up, Stand Fierce and the like, for example. So.
Well, apparently he's known for that as well, just the Wake Up 3-frame close stand Fierce.
Look, there's not that much reason not to. It's a pretty good option.
Right. But I mean, obviously with the 3 characters that he's gone with, Chun-Li, Sakura, or Viper, we have no idea which one he's going to bust out here at Capcom Cup. But also on top of that, all 3 of them pretty execution heavy.
Yeah.
You know, Chun-Li's got those lightning kick loops, and Sakura's got all these one-frame links, and Viper, everyone knows, is, you know, kind of an execution fierce, faint, fierce kind of thing.
Right.
So apparently that, I mean, obviously he spends over 3 hours a day practicing. A lot of that probably goes into the execution.
I would think so, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, when we watch these videos, we're actually, because he uses so many characters, we kind of wanted to showcase more than one character.
Right.
We didn't find much footage of his Viper online,
Right.
but we've definitely found footage of his Chun-Li and his Sakura.
Yes.
So we're going to watch a little bit both of that. We're going to watch his Sakura first, which we're going to see is a little bit more offensive, and we're going to watch part of a grand finals from the same event where he switches to Chun-Li.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same event, so it shows that within that one event, you know, he is bringing out these different characters depending on matchup and player and all sorts of stuff like that.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. Before we get started, I really want to give shout outs to the Portuguese combo fiend or the Brazilian combo fiend in this video. You're not going to be able to hear him.
Yeah. But you have to see the original video because when we started watching these vids, we were like, oh, this is when Combo Fiend went down there because he's been down there.
Right.
It was not Combo Fiend, but I swear, it's like almost Combo Fiend. It's so strange to hear. Like these two guys have almost exactly the same intonations
except one has an accent.
Right. Yeah. It's really bizarre. But anyway,
okay.
It was good commentary.
Oh yeah, for sure. So okay, we're gonna head over here. All right, so you can see official Capcom Pro Tour event. Yeah, you can see Shushu there on the right. And if people are wondering, the commentators were pronouncing his name Shushu instead of Choo-Choo. So
that's what we're gonna do.
We're assuming that that's the correct way. But you're going to see here in this match, there's going to be a lot of times where Shushu is actually going to walk forward very aggressively.
Right. Well, he was just trying to do it right there. He got shut down by crouching short, but that was the idea.
Right. And there you saw the close-up stand fierce that he did right after Abel's step kick.
Right.
3 frames, he knows it's going to beat out almost everything that Abel does. So good option there.
And lots of activity as he's moving around. You know, lots of activity as he's getting up. Yeah, he's backdashed a couple of times. Something to keep an eye on. There's the stand fierce.
Just does it. And he is going to basically steal this round from that.
Right.
And right there, you can see kind of that aggressiveness. You know, this kind of...
He's on the left.
Yeah. You know, he's not scared. He's very confident. And so that's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out at Capcom Cup, because obviously he's the underdog here, because a lot of people, you know, are not going to be as familiar with him as probably all 15 of the other players. So it's going to be really curious to see how that's going to go.
Well, I liked there when Abel got in for just a second, Shushu was checking him with stand jab. Again,
there you
mobile
see,
being active.
And you saw the aggressive forward walking. Doesn't pay off for him this time, and here we go. This is what Sakura does, but great use of armor there from his opponent, Dark. Yep, and now just trying to gather himself, gain some momentum here.
Lots of walking forward.
Yeah.
And good timing on the stand roundhouse.
Obviously, in these kind of situations, it's very much an uphill battle. But not giving up. He's still trying to get in there. And of course, Sakura, one of those super dangerous, high damage momentum characters. Any one hit can lead to an entire round.
Look, we saw that in the previous round, right? He whooped with Stand Fierce and ended up taking it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gone in. Oh,
so that was I like that. That was an option select,
right,
but
the idea, but
it didn't work out the way, you know, it didn't work out as he wanted it. And look at that, just right in there, going right after him. Oops. So it's dropping some of his combos there, but it's okay. Happens for a lot of players. And there
nice,
you go.
Yeah, gets the conversion.
Yeah, very aggressive and nice throwing the roll.
Safe, why not?
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
There it is.
Yeah, catching him with that neutral jump there. And again, you can see here this really nice little venue that they have here out in Brazil.
Yeah, it looked cool.
When they panned out a couple of times, like right now, I mean, what is it's like a mall or something? I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure what that venue is.
It's a really cool looking venue. All right, so they're just going to go right back into it. And I remember in this round here, this is where you're going to see Shushu, I should say, walk forward a lot. There's that Sakura buff right there. but he definitely chases him. See him right
Yeah,
there, just
right.
walking forward, and great reaction with that low fierce to catch him
and
on the
very
back.
aggressive again with the walking toward.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we talk about this, and then as soon as we go to the next video where he plays Chun-Li, it's going to be less so, you know?
Sure.
Because obviously it's dependent on the character. Backdashing in the corner. Look at that, just walking forward, crouch fierce. No fear, no fear. And I really like that about the way he plays.
There's that fierce.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, and that didn't work out either, but he has the idea.
Yeah.
Probably takes the round.
Yeah, that's going to do it right there.
Right. Just 2 out of 3 in this winners finals, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. But you can see how he just pretty much just, you know, he just keeps going forward. He's not scared. Not really. A lot of times when you play, especially against a character like Abel, who can do so much damage all at once, sometimes it's scary to go after them. But no fear here. And again, just...
There's that fierce.
Yep. And again...
Wow.
Just not giving him any chance to play any mix-ups on him. Oh, wow.
That was pretty sick.
I'm not sure he did that on purpose, but we'll give it to him.
But look at all that offense. Walking
Yeah.
to war, walking towards Darkway 817 finally gets sick of it.
Yeah, lots of pokes there. All right. Good, you know, standard Abel mix-up there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I mean, you know, a character able to do so much damage all at once, but still no fear, backdashing, and same thing right there.
Gonna close it out.
Yeah,
that close fierce, you could see it in wake-up situations, in post-step kick situations. You could see a lot of walking toward. You know, there weren't that many interactions of footsies, really. That is to say, of buttons, sort of button versus button.
Right.
But as far as the understanding of the neutral game and how to get through it, which is that character's goal, it's Sakura's goal, obviously, is to get through the neutral game and get inside. He did it great.
Right. And interestingly enough, so he goes up against an Adon in grand finals.
Yeah.
And against Adon, he chooses to go with Chun-Li instead.
Right.
So let's go ahead and take a look at this match here.
Okay. Lakustella is his opponent.
And so we're starting this in the middle here. It's already 1-1
Right,
here,
yeah.
right? So we just wanted to show
3 out of 5, though.
a little, yeah, so this one's 3 out of 5. So we wanted to just show a little bit of his Chun-Li and Sakura at the same time. So we're not going to watch this whole entire match here, but
Right.
good sweep.
Yeah, you see how it's a very different story. There's a lot of mid-range play. He backs off a lot in expectation of things exactly like that.
Right.
And then rather than challenging after that kind of neutral situation, he just gets away.
Right, right. And not only that too, but you'll also see a little bit later on, a little bit, you know, of his knowledge and science of the game, because he knows you can punish Jaguar kicks with Chun-Li supers and such like that. So he obviously knows the matchup, and that might have been one of the reasons why he chose to go with Chun-Li. And you know what? When a player knows 3 different characters, 1 very defensive one and 2 very offensively aggressive ones like Viper and Sakura, this is a very dangerous player to go up against, because he can switch around on you and you're not sure what to expect.
I love that little down short after the sweep just to take control in case Adon had pressed anything.
Right.
Not actually safe, but there's some gutsiness to it, even though it was not really that offensive.
Yeah, there it is. So he's got the super built up there. You can see he's got his links down pretty well, so... Oh, wow. There it goes. Accidentally dashes into that.
Yeah, just getting away.
Yeah, smart escape there. Didn't even use the meter there. He's going to save it a little bit. But there he goes. Gets that full conversion there. That was nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he was hoping for it to stun, but it didn't quite stun. So, but again, you can see just a very good defensive style here, backdashing, getting away here. And this is a good example of his footsies. I believe he wins it with a really nice throw. Just at one point, he just gets Adon just to block. Oh, no, okay. It was one of the other rounds later on. He'll actually win with a really nice footsies throw.
You know, you're seeing not just defensive play, but ability to just really take control of the mid-range, because it's not the case that he's walking back all the time. He does dash up sometimes, he does walk forward sometimes. He will press buttons in situations where he's not actually in the advantage in terms of frames, but he has an understanding of pace and when the opponent wants to do something, and he takes control.
Yeah, I mean, even we say his Chun-Li is a little bit defensive, he still has this kind of aggressive play style while playing defensive, like a defensive jab kind of thing.
He's still active. It's
active, that's a good word for it.
Right,
Okay.
Anyway, let's head back into it. But there are a lot more situations where he doesn't challenge quite the same way that he did with Sakura.
Right.
Those are pretty nice links.
Yeah. All right, good defense here. You see not a lot of, and see that countering with the fierce button. You know, he knew he had that distance, that he had that opportunity to push that button, and he knew that La Costella was going to try to be a little more aggressive. Nice. That was a nice anti-air there. And there you go.
Yeah.
Stan Roundhouse right into EX. Gets the Ultra. It's good damage.
And sets up, you know, a little bit of pressure if he walked behind. Oh, try to just get out of there.
Right. Ooh.
That sucks.
Yeah, he missed that. But I think he ends up taking it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you see
he didn't shoot your nose.
Right.
He's like, okay, you deserve to win that round.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Ooh, just jumping toward. I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, you know, with Sakura, we saw a lot of very aggressive forward walking. And Chun-Li here, you know, he has a fireball in front of him or goes for the Hazanshu in the form of offense. But otherwise, most of the time, he's kind of walking backwards, keeping his fireball charged.
Yeah.
Just playing a very solid ground footsie poke game.
Yep, looking for frame traps, but that's really the offense. Ooh.
But he's not, you know, aggressively going for those frame traps. He's finding the right moments to do it, like right there again. He knew the opponent was a little scared. He dashed in, hit it maybe one frame too late, and they got the trade. But this time he gets it.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, there you go. So perfect.
Exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. So you saw 3 times in a row he went for frame traps, right? And the third time it paid off. But finding the right moments to use them. All right.
Yeah, good spacing on that.
Yeah.
Perfect spot for a sweep. And again, I like that whiff punish. You don't see that too often because these are just a couple of matchups where it's not so much about button versus button in the mid-range. But when we have seen that, he's done really well.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things is the fact that he knows all these different characters. So it's really going to be hard to pinpoint what he's going to do.
Right, yeah. It's going to be tough to get a read. Lots of control right now. Feeling pretty tough for La Costella to get in.
Yeah, good anti-air there. Now, La Costella really has to be careful now because Chun has a super just like that. Okay, there you go.
There you go. Super fast. Really good super for punishing. It's the fastest super.
Yeah, and he also knows now that the air Jaguar kick has more recovery on there.
Sorry.
Oh, what's that?
What?
The air Jaguar kick has more recovery now in Ultra than it did before, so he knew he could punish that with the super. So good stuff to Shushu there. But again, like I said, the thing that's going to make him scary to me is that he has these 3 characters here who, I mean, these are 3 characters that are really good characters for just kind of disrupting what it is that you want to do. You know, Viper, there's been a long history of top players, you know, distaste for this character.
That's true.
You know, a lot of them who are in this event.
That's true.
You know, and then of course Sakura, we've seen what she can do, you know, just a touch you, kind of kill you character. And interestingly enough, one of the Japanese players who's known for using both of these characters, Sakura and Viper, Urio, Shushu is like, that's his favorite player. Like he looks up to Urio a lot. So yeah, makes sense. Makes absolute sense.
But yeah, you're right about the characters because they're 3 quite different characters. There are times when Sakura and Viper, and even Chun to some extent, want to do sort of the same things. Frame trappy sort of business, mix-up sort of business. But the way that they go about doing that is very different but between the 3. Requiring pretty different matchups. You know, they'll have quite different matchups among characters. Different players are more susceptible to one or the other. And so he's going to be able to bring you know, a little bit less stability for his opponent.
Right.
And that can be tough for some players to deal with. It's tough for some people to, even if they win a first game against somebody's character that plays a certain way, to play a second game against that person's character that plays a second way can be a little different, a little difficult to switch up on the fly.
Yeah, and if you think about like all of his opponents that are coming up in this event, like if he runs into Snake Eyes, he can go with a Chun-Li.
Right.
You know, if he runs into, you know, a character that can be rushed down a little bit easier than Viper or Sakura,
Right.
you know, it's just such an advantage to him. And it's not even just, like I said, that he has multiple characters, but he has multiple characters of different styles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he can change up to exactly what he needs to. A lot of people have been talking about how Ultra really is starting to become very matchup and to the point where you have to know at least a few characters to win. We still haven't seen that pan out quite yet. A lot of people predict that's the future. And if that's the case, I feel like Shushu already has kind of a head start on a lot of players.
Well, for this tournament, he does in the sense that he knows the main character for almost everybody in that event.
Right.
It's just something that is it is known. And there are some opponents who can bring out a couple of different characters, but not that many. And so when he goes up against most of the potential matchups, he's going to have a better idea than his opponent will about what that matchup is going to be in terms of character.
Right. And the opponent is just going to have to sit there and think, well, who would he pick that would most likely counter mine, and hope he goes that way. But you never know. Maybe he'll feel comfortable with Viper versus Zangief or something like that, right?
Exactly.
And so you're sitting there going up against Shushu. You're like, I'm going to fight as Chun-Li, and then he all of a sudden picks Viper, and you're like, what the heck, right? So, it's going to be interesting. And obviously, like I said, look, we're not even going to front, right? He's obviously an underdog in this event, because a lot of people are not familiar with him. You know, he's coming from an area which is not widely known as one of the strongest Street Fighter areas. But again, the players down there are very, very good. And he's beaten Infiltration in a tournament, as we mentioned. So, I can't wait to see him come into this tournament and cause a bunch of upsets. Dude. It would be so cool if he did. So.
Right, yeah. The interesting thing is that he is a good player. I definitely agree, but the odds will be against him.
Right.
But I think that's going to make him an interesting player to, trade a little bit of back and forths on. So
Absolutely.
we'll see.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, like
long odds produce, better payouts, shall we say.
At Capcom Cup last year, for example, Tampa Bison got second place in the Cross Tekken tournament, which not a lot of people were going to guess. I mean, he beat Vae, he beat Justin in that tournament as well. He beat a bunch of really strong players, and a lot of people weren't counting on him. He was kind of an underdog, so there you go.
Well, I'm really glad that Brazil gets a spot. You mentioned this before, but Brazil was to have a spot last year. It didn't end up working out due to some, legal and immigration issues, visa issues. But this time they get somebody, and that's great. It gives a lot more people somebody to cheer for. One of the things that I like about the Capcom Cup is that it does have quite a wide variety geographically. And so he's the rep from South America.
Right.
And I think that's great. Looking forward to that.
Shout outs, by the way, to Marcus Lima, who helped us get a lot of information on Shushu. But one of the things that he added was that the country of Brazil is so excited for him, and they're like they just can't wait to see how he performs at this event. And, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him, having a whole country on his back like this, a whole continent almost, you know. But, I mean, hey, I hope he pulls through, dude, because it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so exciting for him. Yeah. And I mean, he even says that he looks up to a lot of the, Shushu looks up to a lot of the players in Japan and in the States as well. Right. And the whole country is super eager to see how they match up with all these guys, because they've had so much difficulties traveling and getting around to the place and stuff like that. So this is a really big opportunity for them, and that's exciting. That's really cool.
Some of the players who he specifically mentioned as being the players that he likes the most are going to be at Capcom Cup. So he might get a chance to see how he stacks up, which is exciting for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. So. But yeah, again, this is going to be the Capcom Cup 2014 on December 13th. You can see so many interesting storylines going into this thing. And it's going to take place at the Warfield in San Francisco. Awesome venue. Really, really cool venue. If you're in the area, I believe there's still tickets left that you can purchase for that. And obviously, if you can't make it there, twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters. Follow them to get news as soon as the stream goes up, because you do not want to miss any second of this. It's going to be a lot of cool things there.
And if you like this sort of thing, where we talk about matches and analyze players and their backstories and histories and talk about news and all that sort of stuff, then come check us out at our channels, which are youtube.com/UltraChenTV and twitch.tv/UltraChenTV.
Yeah, we try to educate fighting games from all angles, from very beginner standpoint, from very expert standpoint, and we also like just to talk about what's going on in the fighting game community and all the news and stuff like that. So
that's right.
Definitely check that out.
All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at Capcom Cup.
Peace.